Talking today to Mike Aldridge, who is the broadcast manager of Cape Town TV. It was amongst the first community television stations to actually start broadcasting on the continent. Mike, how did Cape Town TV come about?
It came about through quite a long process. It took about 4 years to get it together, and essentially it came about through the interaction of a number of organisations that were involved in community media here in Cape Town. So they came together to form a kind of consortium based on the Australian model. And there was a lot of discussions and debates and consultations with other organisations and community structures.
So what were the components of the consortium?
Essentially there were 4 core organisations who carried the initiative forward, and one of those organisations was Workers World Media Productions, and they kind of gave us a base to start off with. So they gave us a little corner of their office to begin operations and get things together to do the actual broadcast when we got the license.
And what kind of programs do you broadcast?
Basically, we broadcast anything that we can get for free.
Right.
That includes a lot of documentaries, some sourced off the internet or from independent producers or other organisations. There's also music programs. We produce talk shows ourselves, and then there's community content. We have some independent producers making content for us. And
do you have news content?
We've just started a news service that's starting off with just doing a little 5-minute news piece every day. Obviously news is quite a logistically intensive and expensive form. So it's getting the equipment and the people and the training and all of those elements together, and of course the funding to make it happen.
So how many people work for the station?
We have about 20 people there at the moment. That consists of a small core of permanent staff. Then there's interns, and apart from that we have volunteers who mainly come in for the studio crews.
And what's the financial basis of the station? How do you keep afloat?
Right, we get core funding from the MDDA, which is the Media Development and Diversity Agency, which is a government body. And then we get money from sale of airtime, principally to religious organisations and government. We give donor or sponsored programs where donor organisations or companies will give us money to produce particular programs. We get donations and membership fees from our members and community. And then probably the smallest area of income at this point in time is advertising, although that is an area which is growing as our capacity to interact with the industry and advertisers increases.
And what's the turnover in round terms of the organisation? So financially, how big is it?
I think our operating budget is around 5 million per year. 5 million rands per year.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the audience of the station?
The audience is mainly in the lower income groups, which is our target audience, and it's also the fact is that the lower income people are the majority of the population here in Cape Town. So we feel that we're quite successful in reaching that target audience. Obviously there are sectors of that audience where we need to increase our presence, principally amongst the African population sectors. We do reach other population sectors, in the higher income levels as well. But as I say, our intention is to provide a service for all of the people of Cape Town, but focusing on those lower income groups.
So how many people are currently watching?
We have an audience of around 1.2 million people per month. Average reach per day is around 250 to 300,000.
Okay. And more broadly on the world of community TV in South Africa, what other stations are there in South Africa who operate as community stations?
At present there's ourselves, there's Soweto TV in Johannesburg, there's one KZN in KwaZulu-Natal, which is based in northern KZN. those are the stations that are on air. There are other stations which have licenses but are not on air. Chwani TV is kind of on and off air. There's Platinum TV in the Northern Province. There's Nelson Mandela Bay TV in the Eastern Cape. And yeah, those are the licensed TV stations, community TV stations at this point in time.
And you were saying that the commercial companies were beginning to buy up some of the licenses?
Yes, there's one big corporate company that's called Kagiso Media, and they are kind of trying to own the community TV space. So they are funding, I think it's now 3 community TV stations, those being Soweto TV, 1KZN and Nelson Mandela Bay. So they provide all of the infrastructure for those stations, they provide key staff members and training, and they take a large chunk of the income. So we see that as a commercialization of the community TV space, which we're very opposed to, but well, it's happening, so yeah, not a good thing.
Mike, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you.